Hey everyone, I'm going to be doing a goddess look for you today. I'm going to start by using my SPF as a mattifying base. It works so well to control my oil, so I'm mostly just applying that on my T-zone and blending it in. Now I'm just going to use a foundation that's just a couple shades lighter than my skin tone and use it as a face brightener. So I'm applying it to the higher planes of my face, and it's just going to help brighten my complexion. And it has a very sheer finish, so it blends in really nicely. It's a very subtle difference, but subtle is good. Now I'm going to use a concealer and highlighter duo, and first dot the concealer underneath the eyes and also around the nose where it's dark and red. So just apply that first. And then I'm going to take the highlight end, and that's going to help brighten it even further, and I'm just dotting over the same areas once again. And then just make sure to smooth it out with your finger. So just lightly pat that in. Underneath the eye, I'm going in a V motion, so going further down into the cheek to really help brighten up this area. Just gently pat the concealer along, and it should blend in really nicely. And then of course don't forget around the nose area. And also the Cupid's bow. Now I'm going to apply a mineral foundation, and this may seem like a lot of products on the face, but trust me, it's not. I feel prettiest when my skin, my natural skin, is actually peeking through. So a mineral foundation is a really nice natural way to go about it, and it's a sheer coverage, but that's why we spent some time brightening and applying concealer beforehand. So after I dotted some of this around the face, I decided to just buff it in. And make sure to buff it in really well so that it doesn't look splotchy. Since I am planning to wear a blonde wig later, I'm actually going to be using a lighter brownish type of brow powder and just applying that through the brows wherever it's sparse, just to give it some color. So I don't want to go too dark with it or make it look way too defined. Time for the eye makeup. First I'm going to apply an eye primer onto the lids and also underneath the lower lash line. This is going to help prolong our eye makeup wear. And then of course you want to smooth that out. I'm going to take this pink shade in a very fluffy blending brush and just grab a little bit of that and apply that on the outer corner of the eye and just blend that inwards. I'm not going to go too high with it, it's just going to be a nice warm undertone before our next color. Now using a denser blending brush and going into a light medium brown shade, I'm going to apply this to the outer half of the lid and then also blend that on upwards over the pink. But just have a touch of the pink peeking above it. So just do the same on the other side and blend that in. Taking the larger fluffy brush, you could always further blend it all in. I'm taking a cream shadow and I'm going to use that as another base just to make it a little bit stickier on the lid before I apply the next shadow. And so just apply a tiny little bit of that. A little bit goes a long way. And now I'm going to take this shade right here. It has very soft shimmer. It's not too frosty, which is perfect and exactly what I wanted. It's kind of a sandy color. It just helps brighten up the eyes, which is what you want. So just taking a stiff brush, patting that on top and blending it out. Time to line the eyes. I'm using a gel liner because it's longer wearing, so just using a fine pointed tip brush, I'm just applying that across the lid, keeping it thicker on the outer half and thinner on the inner part. And then I'm just going to make sure to attach that. I decided to thicken the liner because I am going to be wearing lashes, and I'm also winging it out just a little bit. I'm also going to apply some to the waterline because it's going to help make this look just a little bit more sultry since the eye makeup itself is very light. So just apply that across both waterlines. I'm going to wipe off the excess on a tissue and then just smudge whatever is remaining underneath the eyes. This way nothing looks too harsh, and it kind of has the same effect as if you were to use a pencil liner. I'm going to take that matte medium brown shade from earlier and set right over where I just smudged it underneath my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take the deeper brown and then apply that in the outer corner, outer V of the upper lids, just to give it more dimension. And as always, you want to blend it all in so it has a nice soft look to it. Now I'm going to take a light frosty shade cream shadow and just apply that into the inner tear duct, inner corner of the eye to brighten that part up, and also to serve as a base before I apply another shadow right on top of that. It's just going to make the shadow appear that much more vibrant. I'm taking this golden color, golden yellowish color with a bit of sparkle to it, and then applying it right on top of where I just applied the cream shadow, and it's just going to help it stick. And then next we're going to curl the lashes, and then of course apply mascara to the top and bottom lashes. I'm going to apply these lashes. I like how they're not too long, but they're going to give a nice bit of fullness to my lashes. If you need help applying lashes, I have a separate tutorial on that. But the hardest part for me is always this inner corner area, just make sure it attaches and sits right. I'm going to take a larger fluffy brush to apply some bronzer, so suck in your cheeks if you have to locate where your cheekbone is, but apply it there and also a little bit above. I'm also going to apply it to my jawline, and then also bring it on upwards just to give that overall glow around the face. I'm just going to pinch the brush and apply some on the sides of the bridge of my nose just to contour it a little bit and to balance out the whole bronzed look. So I'm just using a kabuki to soften up any harsh lines, and you're good to go there. My favorite part is highlighting. I'm using this shadow that has a golden pinky pearlescence to it. I'm also taking the tip of that tapered brush and highlighting my brow bone as well, and it just gives this really gorgeous glowy sheen, as you can see. So just apply that on the higher planes of your cheekbone, and then a little bit on the bridge of the nose, on the forehead, and also a little bit on the Cupid's bow. Last but not least, the lips. I'm using a mauve pink with a golden sheen lipstick, and then a nice pink gloss right on top of it to finish off the entire look. As you can probably tell, this would also make a gorgeous bridal look. I would just tone down the shimmers, and you could wear it to a formal, a dance, prom. It's a very versatile look, and it's just very pretty. But let's have some fun with it and change it up so that it's just different and transform ourselves for Halloween. I'm applying this wig cap and making sure to tuck in all the hair underneath so that it won't show before I put on the wig. So I got this really nice blonde wig. It's long with curls in it. This is actually the most expensive part of the costume, but I thought it'd be fun. So it's easiest for me to hold down the top part and then just kind of drag the rest down so that it encompasses my head. And then of course you want to make some adjustments so that everything sits nicely. Now it's time to accessorize. I have this gold leaf necklace that I thought would look really pretty as a headpiece, so I attached an elastic to it. That way I don't have to pin it up, and it's just going to sit across the head really nicely. It's just going to stretch and sit securely. And then of course you want to apply the rest of your jewelry and accessories. Go with gold, anything nice and pretty, and you're good to go. This is probably one of the easiest costumes to whip up, especially if you need a costume last minute. I decided to get this really sheer, pretty material because I thought it would look more feminine. It would just look really nice how it drapes. You could always use a thicker material, and if you are going to wear something thinner like this, then you definitely want something to cover underneath because it's going to see through. So you could wear a dress. If you have a white kind of like fitted dress, that would work really well. Or you could use fabric to make your own underslip. And then next, for the belt part, I just bought this gold rope that you can also find at a fabric store. I decided to get about 2 yards of fabric. So what we're gonna do is hold it so it's long widthwise like this. And I'm just gonna grab the ends. I'm gonna swing it behind me. I'm just gonna grab the top corners like this. Swoop this one over my right shoulder. And I'm gonna tie these two right here where it's gonna be sitting on my shoulder. So now there are a few different ways you could go about this. If you tighten this up long enough, you should be able to, alright, let's show you. I'm gonna have this end here. You should be able to grab the other end and then swoop it back here and then tie it. And then just make sure you cover that up all nice. and you don't have to, you know, worry about seeing any loose ends. I didn't really want to wear it like that because I actually want this end hanging out. So instead, I'm just going to tuck this in and into my dress. Of course, just make sure to adjust everything so that it looks nice. Alright, so once you've got that, you will have an opening here. But we're going to use the rope to cover that area so nothing's exposed. So I'm going to take the rope, and I do want it to kind of cross an X motion right there. And I'm going to bring this a little bit higher. And then loop it around, bring it back around again. And then make sure to tie it pretty securely so that everything stays in place. And then just adjust the fabric so that it looks the way you want it to. Okay, so once you've adjusted everything, you've got your goddess costume. Now if you are going to wear something like a dress underneath and it has a nice little neckline to it, you could have it so that it drapes down a little bit lower and shows this part. So I have the option of wearing it like this too, since I'm wearing the dress. And that's it.